we pick up in Castle Ravenloft. Having just finished questioning Valenta, you all are walking back out and past the smell of cooking food, smelling some of the familiar things that you had at dinner some hours ago at this point. And as you all step out of the room and Rahadin shuts the double doors, he will turn back to you all. So, do you require time to see the master? Do you need his audience?
Yes, I believe we most certainly do, although we've not necessarily deduced what he's in question about. I think that perhaps a moment or two with him would allow us to clear up some of the confusion.
He looks down at his wrist. So, you knowingly would like to waste the master's time. Good. I'm sure he will be quite happy to hear this. Please, follow me. We will return to the stairs and go back to the music room.
Thanks.
And as we're walking, I want to try to engage with Rahadin a little bit.
What would you like to ask, little one?
So, Rahadin, although you seem to have eluded any suspicion, I'm curious about your background. I may have been rude to you in the past, but I understand that you, like everyone, is under the servitude of Strahd, and not all decisions are of your own well-being.
Servitude is perhaps a strong word for somebody who has spent their life willingly working for a family. Sure, I serve them, but I have given much more of my life to them than a simple servant. I have been with Strahd since before his ascension, both to where he is and to the throne of Barovia. And he'll just kind of like, as he walks past walks out of that room to the southern gate or southern door, just around the corner from that room. You guys will see as he like opens up that stairwell. You walk through that 20-foot hallway, and then he'll kind of finish that as he reaches his arm out towards the circular stairs, towards the side that leads up, and you are essentially one level below the music room. But he'll wait to kind of follow you all up those stairs.
I'll stop right in front of him and say, and did you serve Strahd's father before him, or did you begin service under Strahd?
I served his father before the young Barovia. The young... God damn it, why can't I ever fucking remember his name?
And was that it?
The young Zarovich. I don't know why I said Barovovich. It just seems to fit.
Oh shit, I've got that in my notes as Barovovich as well, so I'll change that from last week.
And when Strahd fell in battle, where were you, and were you concerned for his well-being?
There were many years of war. All of our well-beings were certainly a concern.
I apologize. Perhaps I'm being a little too vague. Do you take up arms, or are you just a housekeeper slash wagon driver? I'm not sure how to word that, but are you a fighter at all, or?
If the Lord would allow me the pleasure of killing you, I would be more than happy to murder the three of you in a moment's notice. He need only tell me that you are no longer under his protection, and it would be a glorious death for all of you.
Ah, well then let us all be glad that we still serve a purpose to your master Strahd, and he has chosen that we remain unharmed by you or anyone
Yes,
else in his castle.
yes, the disappointment is very great.
For you, but I would rather like to stay alive as long as possible.
I have a quick question. So what do you think Strahd is so mad about? What do you think someone's done wrong that's got us going around questioning everybody?
Why do you assume that the master is mad?
Okay, wrong choice of words. What do you think he's got us investigating over?
I believe that you may have hearing issues. You know quite well what he has you investigating. Please, we are here. The master is inside, and he's going to open the doors to the music hall, and you will see Strahd van Zarovich is seated in the same seat, twisting his wine in his glass in the same way as he looks as Rahadin opens the double doors.
Hi, Lord Strahd.
Please, enter. Enjoy yourselves. Sit. Relax.
Your hospitality is greatly appreciated. Now I'll walk over and have a seat next to Strahd.
I'll take a seat next to the other side of Strahd.
And I'll sit as close as possible.
We have few useful questions, but have learned many answers. We thought that perhaps revisiting you would clear up some of the fog, so to speak.
We appreciate you're very busy. Just not quite there yet, but on the way. You know, just a couple of things we wanted to double check with you.
I could argue that for something so valuable that all our master has is time, no?
I have many pressing matters to attend to. Not all things in the house have importance.
Quite so. And on that note, we won't take too much of your time.
Lord Strahd, good evening. And one thing that perhaps you can help with. Do you have any specifics or any details to work with?
Regarding what's
Need
been done,
a pencil, paper. Do you require a notepad? I understand some private dicks need paper to interview.
No, sir. My memory is quite good, sir.
Fantastic.
You'll notice that Cyrus has pulled out like a small journal with a leather cover, and that he's been like writing notes in it this whole time.
could we discern some more details regarding what one of your concubines may have done to offend you? So that's us going to find which one has done it. Would make our investigation much easier.
Your question is... And he's gonna wink at Sarkis.
Was there a particular event or time that gave you the impression that one of your brides had betrayed you? Or is this just a looming suspicion?
I have my reasons to believe that you have been set on this path, and perhaps in part it was one of the works of my concubines. I do not know if there is any other reason that I require.
And, oh, go ahead, my bad.
When did you first suspect this, good Lord?
I feel like you guys keep getting hung up on time. I'm not sure if it matters in the least bit, but I think I've said 3 days in the last session.
Thank you.
I must have missed that. Yeah, thanks.
It doesn't matter in the least bit, though, is kind of what I'm getting at. But I think I said 3 days, but it was an arbitrary number, and it's not in my notes. I don't think I kept it in my notes.
Was there a particular incident or piece of evidence that had given you this impression? Uh, Someone acting suspicious? Or, again, is this just a feeling?
I believe all it requires you to know is that I am lord of this land, and it is my desire to ask of you to find this result. If you cannot find it, you are of no use to me. Rahadin will prepare the carriage, and we will return you to the winery. Should I summon Rahadin? Should I send you away?
Well, we are intent on getting to the bottom of this, not only to prove that we can be useful, but also to secure the reward which you have promised us. Uh, just know that was this task easy, you would have done it on your own, so perhaps the disclosure of even the smallest bit of information could help us help you.
Do you require a demonstration of how easy it is for me to find the solution?
No, no, not necessary. Not necessary.
Then please do not doubt that it is simple for me to come to the solution. I do not wish to force myself on my brides when I can get any information that I need at will. But should you require an example of my power, I do not mind showing you.
That is definitely not necessary. I think we've already seen the limitless bounds of your power. Don't doubt you for a second.
Have you found the solution? Do you know any of my brides have had meanings or dealings in which they have betrayed me and betrayed my trust?
We have suspicions, but we are not at our conclusion yet.
Do you require rest? Do you need to leave the castle? Are we finished here? Or do you need to sleep? Do you need to see them? Why are you here with me?
We had hoped to try and discern some further information from you to try and aid us in this investigation. However, I for one can see perhaps maybe we would be better served continuing our questioning before reaching a conclusion one way or the other.
I do not require any information that I know, so that you are asking me seems to be a waste. Perhaps you do not understand. I know everything that I know. I am trying to find out what they know. Please, speak to my concubines, my wives, Escher, or ask Rahadin to take you to the winery, and we will be done with this. I believe, it seems, this has all been a mistake. A great mistake. For Valakai has a beautiful celebration that is going on today, and I fear you are going to miss the wonders.
It appears we are at a crossroads. A celebration indeed, or perhaps a night of rest to contemplate the information that we've attained. I am open to either, but would like to get to the bottom of this if possible.
Then I assure you it is time to leave my presence and return to your needs. Sleep or find the brides. You can ask the questions or you can rest. But I am finished with you.
Much appreciated. And Rahadin will see to either of these needs?
When you say Rahadin's name, he opens the door. Damn, I missed one. He opens the door and looks down to you all. Please, you can follow me. Where would you like to go?
We take one more stab at questioning Esha.
Yeah, I guess my real question was, do you guys want to do another round of questioning and then try to solve it? Do you want to get a night's rest and then try to solve it? Or do you want to scrap this for now and go to the festival while it's still an opportunity?
I say just get on with it. We're not going to make the festival either way, can we? So sleep doesn't really matter at this point.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Sleeping is the only thing that will guarantee that you cannot make it to the festival. It is currently about 6:40 in the morning, and you guys can make it to the festival if you leave now.
If we should all of a sudden have an epiphany with this bride and suddenly discover by some random fluke the answer to this riddle or questioning process, can we assume that we would immediately be like attacked, or that bride would feel threatened, or can we still like feel safe without arrest?
That will 100% be in the moment. It will depend how things happen.
I got you. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my like questions.
I think you guys are aware enough that whoever is betraying Strahd probably doesn't quite understand what they are doing. So I think it is a safe enough understanding that if you are to uncover things in a very clear manner, where you are not solving the riddle very intellectually, if you uncover things, you may also uncover it in their mind, and what they react as once they understand what they've done is going to be unclear and not something you can predict.
That's what I was kind of thinking. Is I almost feel like we have to make a decision one way or the other. Like we have to either like try to come back to this, but understand there's a high likelihood that we're not going to have a second opportunity at this, or that we should like get a night's sleep and then assume that if we can solve this, that we're probably going to be attacked. Because I imagine, like you said, that if we figure it out, they're probably going to try to kill us and then make up an alibi why they had to kill us. That's my guess.
To be fair, I did say this last week, but we just continued questioning all of them anyway. So I don't see there being any difference in danger than we were last week. If you see my point.
I literally have 0 resources and 8 hit points, so that was my point there.
Yeah, I've been sitting on 1 hit point or 2 for the whole last 2 weeks or something.
I can go either way. My other thought was if we have a long rest, I have another shot at augury.
But then we miss out on the festival. I mean, if we how would we even get to the festival? Would we be taken there, or do we have to try and risk it with like 2 HP, like the whole journey?
The only way that you guys can effectively go to the festival is if you request to leave, be done here, and go directly there. That's the way that you can make it there.
Off our own accord, as in with no aid, right?
I mean, if you guys are creative enough to ask to be dropped off there, like you can ask, can we be dropped off so we can see this festival
Yep.
that you tell us about? I don't think that's that crazy.
I feel like he sort of like volunteered that Rahadin would like take us on the wagon. I don't think you were really around for it, Vox, but Rahadin has like a horse-drawn like carriage that he sort of like transports Strahd's bitches around with. So I think we could probably go that route if we wanted. We just have, as a group, kind of need to decide what we want to do.
I'm good. I mean, if we're really worried about being attacked, which I was in the first place, to be fair, on this whole escapade, then, you know, we can abandon at this point and just ask for a lift and then get rest after the festival, I hope. Or we just go head first trying to figure this out. I've got no clue, by the way, other than my guess is Escher, and I don't know how to get that information to prove it, or without it coming from him and then him turning on us.
My main problem with the Escher situation is that Escher is like the key to all of them, like being able to get into the regular world. So I think it's like almost impossible that Strahd would ever kill Escher, like, or want Escher dead or whatever. So it's almost like seems like the easy answer to go after Escher, and we have a pretty good argument for how it could potentially happen. But it seems unlikely that under like pretty much any circumstance that they would like compromise their one and only chance to like leave this land.
So what's the play then? If we were going to try and figure this out,
I don't know. I definitely think that we need to. I think I don't think we're gonna get a ton of information out of Valenta. She seemed like pretty closed, at least like in our last encounter. But I thought maybe that we could get a little more information from Lumella that would be useful, and then perhaps like try to like butter up Anastraya a little more, but maybe get some more information about their past, what kind of like interactions they've had recently outside of the castle, because that's something we really didn't touch on. Is like they sort of have talked about what their purpose would be to leave the castle, but not so much like who they would interact with, what their main purpose of interacting was, or like if there was any recent incidents.
Okay. I'm at this point. I'm scratching my head a little bit, so I'm good to follow any line of questioning someone wants to pull.
Let's go with it.
Yeah, that sounds good. So let's try to question him a little bit. If we really just feel like we're at a dead end, we could try to get a ride to the festival and just say F it. But I think let's try at least to talk to Valenta and Anastraya one more time. And I think if we talk to Valenta, we should try to appeal to like her age and her ego as being superior. Not try to like bait her into like telling on herself or someone else. But and then Anastraya, I think we should try to like appeal to like her, like I don't know what you want to call it, like her, like you know how I like tried to dance with her and get her like in the moment type deal, like you know what I mean?
Did you mean Lumbella, not Valenta, earlier? By the way.
Lumella, I meant, yep.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
I do,
Just checking.
sir.
Yeah, man. Crack on.
So then, I guess I would say to go see I think Lumella first then.
Rahadin, could you take us to see Lumella, please?
We can take the stairs here. It will be the 4th floor. If you will follow me, we can head that way.
Oh, feels so tough.
You all walk past, what is it, 3 landings on your way to the 4th floor. The first on the western side, the second on the western side, and the third to the western side. I feel like the second actually had the double to the north and to the west. You all walk through a small hallway with 2 knights that seem to be statues on the northern and southern side of a single door. As you enter into the door, there's kind of like a wedding party of food set about, with rotten cakes still served on the table. And Rahadin will escort you towards the northern door of that room, upon which you guys will enter. Shit. And as you get there, Ludmilla, Ludmilla is sitting there waiting or rather sitting there reading in front of the fire, where she is dancing with Strahd in the picture above the fireplace. Otherwise, the room seems like a quiet library setting. What would you all like to ask?
Hello again, Lumella. I hope we haven't disturbed your reading. Perhaps time for a little break?
I assure you, your presence is most certainly a disturbance.
I sense the disturbance as well. Um, I'm just a little curious. I think we've absolved you of any suspicion, but there were a couple of questions I had. You had spoken about the books and interacting with the Vistani. Do they bring you those books, or do you go to see them regularly?
Many of the Vistani work directly for my lord.
Interesting, interesting. And I was rather curious. You had spoken about your fortune-telling gifts in your previous life, so to speak. I'm curious, have you ever had your fortune read by Madame Ava before?
Many Vistani women can read fortunes. We have a tendency to read the fortunes of far travelers. Those of Barovia, all of our fortunes are far more obvious.
I suppose that makes quite a bit of sense. And in the last couple days, have you journeyed outside of the castle walls? Uh, when exactly did you recruit Gertruda?
Gertruda escaped from her mother's grasps some days ago. I met her along the Odsfalet Road, where she requested asylum with the Lord.
Ah, interesting. So she sought you out more than you sought her. Was it your intention to look for a bride, or just a coincidence?
The Lord is always looking for brides.
Ah, like any good man would, I'm sure. Uh, well, I'm a monk, but for most. Um, so, what were you doing on the road? Just daily activities, or were you out and about for a particular reason?
We are not prisoners here. We are welcome to go out and to visit the lands, as well as sometimes the Lord sends us on errands.
Of course not. Of course not. I would not presume that you were. Obviously, trust is an integral part of your arrangement. And what was the nature of your particular uh, journey?
I was out on the overlook, and I was quite fortunate to see a beautiful young girl as she broke out of her house. A young girl that for some ages has been hidden from our views. It is my understanding that her mother has kept her hidden for some 20 years now. She has told much of Barovia that Gertruda died as an infant. She's tried to hide the child, and it was a beautiful surprise to see that not only was a young lady freed, but she was most beautiful and most wonderful as a gift for the Lord. And it was my pleasure to find out that she knew of the Lord, and she too sought him out.
Fortunate coincidence indeed. And out of curiosity, Strahd is very powerful. What type of betrayal or magic could hide such a precious gift for so long? Magic or
It need not require a magic to hide a child such as this. It is not always magic that is used to find them. It is quite clear where a life is in our lands. They have come to call her mother Mad Mary, and many have wondered what exactly it was. I believe many of Barovia have understood it to be that she grieved for her child, but it seems clear now that she imprisoned her child in an attempt to protect her from the dangers of Barovia.
Milady, question. You have said it's very easy to know where a life is in Barovia, and it's obvious. Lord Strahd is supremely powerful. Does that mean she was somewhere else? Perhaps not Barovia?
We all have eyes. We can watch for all of time. It is not difficult for us to see where people go about. I mean only that if the mother killed the child or exhumed a body, perhaps she was able to trick most of the world into understanding that Gertruda had died as an infant some 20 years ago. Perhaps even Gertruda was a twin, and one of the infants did die. We don't know all of the story, only that at doing mental math, I think we're going to go for Gertruda is 22 years old. At 22, Gertruda was able to overpower her mother's imprisonment and make her own escape.
Ah, so simple trickery, nothing of the arcane, is what you're saying?
We do not expect or know of any users of magic who live in Barovia. Most of that town is now destroyed. There are very few who remain there. Maybe. And she sniffs the air deeply. 107 souls are in Barovia.
Impressive.
Truly.
Did you have any more questions, Sogoria? Sarkisian, sorry.
I'm curious. After finding Gertruda, was there any suspicion brought as to could others have been hidden in this way from our Lord Strahd? I suspect that this was probably not looked upon very favorably to go so long under the Master's nose without her discovery. Uh, was it only to torture the mother that she was left to live without her daughter?
I have not been told of any disappointment. Lord Strahd seems quite happy to have the young lady now. She awaits in the castle. She has fanciful dreams about our Lord and what he can give her in their life together that is to come. Uh, there is little reason to imagine that there is any displeasure in what has come of the machinations of a mother who has tried to protect her daughter at great cost to the one who is locked away.
Yeah.
So you were looked upon quite favorably for discovering her presence, and there was no ill fate for the mother because no one knew that she was lying along the way?
I do not believe that I catered favor, either positively or negatively. She was on her way here after all. From what she understands, I believe you might liken her to a young lady out of a fairy tale. Hidden away in a world where she does not see the dangers about. Perhaps they are able to walk into a death trap, only to find out afterwards that the prince that they think so charming is little more than an evil upon that land. She reminds me, yes, of a fairy tale. She has been hidden away from knowledge of this world. Her mother did her great harm, but in this house, she will likely live a life much longer than she could ever live imprisoned by her mother. And in this life, she will find great pleasures well beyond what she would have ever experienced inside of Barovia. Like Volenta, she has been brought up from nothing and will have everything. Strahd need only marry her, and they will be solidified as a pair. But for now, she already enjoys the company that the Lord alone can offer.
And is this a process that all the brides go through? First, they're turned into one of your kind, and then when the time is right, the ceremony?
Oh no, she is entirely human right now. She is here of her own free will. She has not been turned.
She has not been turned. I was under the impression that it just was a process and that her body was still ripe with life, but that the process had already begun.
It is an interesting process. First, the Lord will drain them of all of their blood. It is perhaps a shocking thing for many to see. And as their body lies dead, their soul wandering around Barovia, then the ritual begins that brings them back and into a deeper purpose. But soon the body can be rekindled, and with the proper incantations, they can become one of us. But it always starts with the bite. But anybody who enjoys a good kill can understand that the finest meats have always been those that die unaware of their danger. It is always best to have the beast's muscles unspoiled, and it is the same with their blood. To spoil a kill takes away the flavor.
But, Madame, how do you get that when she goes into the glorious process willingly? Or is that a different matter?
That is the best, when they choose willingly. Myself, Anastraya, Volenta, we all chose to become this of our own free will. And that is perhaps part of what the Lord has learned since he first lost Tatiana, and perhaps what he hopes as a great solution for young Tatiana, that maybe their love is his cure, and if she only comes in willingly, she will not be doomed to die in the end.
So when will my lord bestow the greatest of gifts on Gertruda?
As much as Anastasia would love to plan a wedding, I think she full well understands that it will be her exit.
Ah, the other side of the kill.
I have questions. One, you mentioned everyone but Escher. Did Escher not choose this life?
Does a cornered animal choose to live before it is slain? Escher is not from here. He did not know what he was choosing. But he did choose life. And he serves a purpose.
Well, certainly the most valuable piece of the puzzle, no doubt. The best chance of any of you escaping this place, no?
Yes, fairy tales are not uncommon for the mortal races. But they do certainly infect those who have left mortality behind. I would relish the taste of many worlds, but Escher dangles this before Strahd as if this were not a prison designed to punish him. He wonders why Tatiana is doomed to die over and over again. It is because we are in his prison. There is no question to it that Escher may wish to open the portals to new worlds. He may wish to walk through the mist. But the mist is here to entrap Strahd, and the powers that wield it are far greater than some human from Waterdeep.
So you believe that Escher just twists tails and is much further from, or there is no chance of this escape then?
I believe the only value in that bitch who follows you is that perhaps it will be the freedom my lord wishes. But I also think the safe bet is to understand that probability will cost her her life every single time she arrives here. It is to die in this land, to make my lord suffer, and it only makes him suffer because he is always wanting for what he cannot have. And that is the nature of her existence in this place. She is blameless, and she is everything that needs to be blamed. Sure, is just a chance meeting. The one that survived from his group, and it just so happened one who can manipulate a part of this place. But they have done little more than pull objects through. It's little more than perfecting Strahd's ability to find those whose souls belong here for all eternity.
So time and time again, Tatiana has arrived in this place, and in order to become a wife, she must choose that destiny. But each manifestation in the past, she has found herself a corpse and never a bride.
He'll take a moment to glance around the room, pausing for a few moments to stare into the fire. It is known that Tatiana at one time loved Strahd. And it was while he still lived as a man. When his father first set his eyes upon this land, Strahd led great armies. And Strahd was gone for some time while he conquered this land for Lord Barov. But when Tatiana came here to relish in the wonders of Strahd's conquest, her love was gone to see the warlord that he had become. Her soul has always hated the bloodlust that is my lord. And that is only a fraction of how she has been used to torture him. It has been his greatest desire to have the one who he once shared love with, but in his great satisfaction after conquest, he found his bride. She no longer felt the same. The warlord was an image she had never wanted to see.
Indeed. So perhaps the sacrifice Strahd made he did not fully understand, and given the opportunity, perhaps he would have chosen differently.
How can you choose differently than what your lord tells you to do? Lord Barov told him to come to this land and to decimate the people of it. Lord Strahd came here, and he did as his father asked. Barovia is what it is, because one must always do what their lord tells them to do. It has always been Tatiana who has ruined this place. It was always her fault.
So could we take a moment out of like character game terms and just kind of cut up a little bit about what we've been talking about?
Most certainly.
Yeah, so we definitely have gotten a lot of useful information and backstory for sure here. Now, I'm not sure we have any direct leads necessarily, but I was definitely under the impression that Gertruda was already in the process of becoming a bride and that she had been bitten already. Is that not the case? Has she not been like started the transition?
No, they said she wasn't.
I may have misspoken at some point about that. But essentially, no, Gertruda is like enjoying this place, but she's kind of like blissfully ignorant as far as people go.
She's still human, has not been bitten yet.
That's what Ludmilla has said.
Okay, see, I like got the impression that like once you got bitten, basically, that there was like a time that it took to like become a vampire or whatever. But okay, that's cool. I may have just misunderstood that. So interesting. And then also, man, I feel like we got so much good information there. I'm just not sure if any of it in particular is useful.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that she didn't find this bride for 20 years is a big fuck up in itself. That could be the betrayal. The fact that she's let Strahd down, it's taken this long. How many others are like that? She doesn't realize she's made a mistake. That's why I was saying maybe take the pedal off the gas on that one. Maybe that's it. We could ask some of the other brides if they knew about this bride in particular, the newest one, and how long it's taken to find out about her, that kind of gossipy sort of stuff, like housewivey shit, and that might be the evidence we need.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility. I mean, it's her job to basically discover, like, or to keep track of, I would imagine, all the potential brides. So even if it's like from a young age, it's sort of like her job to like keep the accounting records. So if there's an accounting mistake, I could understand how that would come down on her. So, but then if that was a betrayal, like Strahd would for sure like know it was her that betrayed him through her like poor job, right?
I don't
What
know.
is the evidence that Strahd is looking for? What is the fulfillment of your contract?
To find out what the brides know.
Go ahead, please.
Strahd asks you to find out who betrayed him, who they're talking to, and have evidence of it. Is there anything like that about Gertruda being trapped in the house for 20 years? Or do you guys think you just got backstory on Gertruda?
I mean,
Backstory.
definitely backstory, but I mean, you could argue that the mother was the betrayer, but not a bride necessarily. It would be more like her poor fulfillment of her duties that was quote unquote the betrayal.
So if that's the
definitely-
betrayal, you would then need to find out, was Ludmilla speaking to somebody in the hiding of Gertruda? Was there a way of communicating to this somebody? That would be the way that you could solidify that that is the betrayal. So perhaps moving forward, maybe you all want to actually speak with Gertruda if you think that's the betrayal. But I think somebody brought up that Strahd knows about that. She said, I don't think I got in trouble just as much as I don't think I got any praise for bringing Gertruda in. She was on her way here.
If DM says that's not the droids we're looking for, then maybe we look for something else.
I mean, I agree. I definitely think we got a lot of information. Also on like the long game. But again, I don't think it was like, I don't think it's the type of thing that would make him want to kill his bride. Now, one thing that he did mention, or that I'm sorry, that Lumella did mention though, is that Anastraya, who normally is all about throwing parties, uh, is not in any hurry to plan a wedding because she knows that it's basically like in with the new, out with the old. So that sort of gives me the impression. Prior to that, I was sort of under the impression that Anastraya had no idea. Like maybe she knew that everybody else was annoyed or didn't particularly like her, but that she didn't necessarily think like she was about to get the boot. But now I get the impression that Anastraya knows that once Gertruda becomes a bride, that she's replacing Anastraya.
But where's the betrayal?
We just might not know yet. But if we talk to Anastraya a little more and find out a little more like information from her, maybe we can find what would be perceived as the betrayal.
Cool. Let's do it.
And then alternatively, the other thing kind of points back to Escher that Escher might be full of shit and really has no likelihood of ever getting Strahd or the brides out of this place. And that he's basically just hanging on to like this dream to like basically like stay alive or not like get imprisoned by Strahd. But in all reality, like he knows he can't get out of here or get Strahd out of here. So, but again, that kind of just leads us back to, Escher, who seems like the obvious answer, but I don't know.
Gotta go with something.
You guys want to try Anastraya, and we can try to get some info about Escher, maybe, and then also see if Anastraya, can kind of give us anything else. But I think we could pretty much at this point in time, I think, rule out probably Valenta.
On
Yeah.
to the next bride.
Sorry, I mean Lumella.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, so I forget her name now. Dancing bride person. Right? Talk to next.
Yeah, try Anastraya next.
Yeah, that's the one. Thanks, Lumella. Always a pleasure. We'll be going now. Bye.
Please do not be alarmed when the door hits you on the way out. It does not constitute an attack if I do not kill you.
Haha, good one.
Crosses my mind that I could possibly kill Vox by hitting him with the door.
That's so true.
So Rahadin's just sitting in the outer hall next to all of the spoiled cakes. And who do you require to see now?
I think it's time to revisit Anastraya. Perhaps we can get to the bottom of this sooner than later.
Good. One more floor down. Please follow me into the hall. We will take to the stairs again.
Let us hope that she does not become angered with us and kill us all, including you, Rahadin, for I'm growing quite fond of you.
I assure you, she is no threat to me.
Ah, perfect. So if she gets angry with us and we call for you, please rush to our aid, because she is quite threatening to the rest of us, I suspect.
Oh, right in. That's a good question, actually. Are you like the strongest after Strahd?
I do not have to fear the brides. Strahd has power beyond what you all imagine, and I do not fear those who serve him.
Yeah, you're blatantly like the number 2. That's cool.
So as you all leave the stairway, you go down a level. Rahadin will open the next door. You will again see the old man seated behind the desk, kind of going over paperwork. And he'll look up at you again, and Rahadin will walk through to the next doorway and open the door. And if you proceed through, you will once again walk into the large hall and see Anastraya seems to be dancing in the lights coming through the large stained glass window before the northern stairs. And she's just kind of spinning, and I think it's called a pirouette. She doesn't seem to notice you, as she's just spinning and spinning and spinning with her arms outreached, and every once in a while she just taps her right toe to the ground and spins a little bit faster, and she's just kind of spinning on her left toe with her dresses kind of fanned out as the centrifugal force grabs her, and she just seems to be enjoying the light.
DM, what's this at the bottom?
That is a large throne. It is a single seat that just seems to be staring towards the wall in that southern side. The chair is singular. It is on a small dais, and it is facing to the south.
Hello again, Anastraya, looking as beautiful as ever.
She'll catch herself in an instant and look off to the south as you all enter. Hello, little one. Wonderful to see you again. Aren't you just the greatest little detective? Have you all found who's betrayed the Lord? No one? Excellent. We can go on to party. Rahadin, get us some wine. Rahadin does not move.
I think at this point in time, we've all but decided that there is no betrayal, but we tired of these business. So we came down here to enjoy ourselves and thought that we were going to enjoy ourselves. What better company could we do so than yours?
Good, Joy. Yes, let's all dance. Let's have a wonderful time. Should I call? No. Should we? Do you think Strahd will join us? Should we have a ball?
Perhaps later. He said he had some business to attend to, but I would love to dance with you. And I'll approach her and put out my hand as if to dance with her.
Oh boy, good luck. Remember the last time?
So the two of you can dance.
What is this room?
It's the King's Hall. All kings need to have a hall to preside over their servants.
I wasn't sure. Typically, wouldn't the chair face out towards an audience rather than towards a wall? Or is there a window or something there?
Nope, it's staring towards stone. If you bring in commoners, it doesn't mean that you have to look at them. They're just common.
Seems rather strange, but what do I know of a castle like this? Is this typically where you dance and enjoy yourselves, or is there somewhere else you prefer to host your parties?
This has the best floor for dancing. The stones, well, they're some of the best marble that was in this land. I love this room. The stained glass is beautiful. It's wonderful to have the light still.
Why do you like the light so much, lady?
I like the colors. Barovia has a poor palette. It's kind of sad. So, it's nice to have the shimmer and all the wonderful little shiny bits. This is just one of the best rooms to enjoy it. And one of the last of the old stained glasses. Many of the others are just clear. It's not nearly as enjoyable.
Hey, Anastraya, so, when are you planning, the wedding? The next one? I mean, isn't that your department, right?
Certainly like to throw parties. And if somebody's betrayed Strahd, then perhaps he will get married soon.
I fail to understand the correlation. Is there a limit to the bribes? Must one go before another can be had?
There's no limit to what Strahd can enjoy, but we're all rather well aware that he prefers 4.
But hasn't he got a new girl that he's waiting to take soon, right? I've forgotten her name, sorry.
Gertruda.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, sure, bring her up. I don't care for his joy in finding the ignorant ones, but for now, he certainly likes the new, but that doesn't mean it's time to marry. He can take his time and marry when he is ready, and if he requires a party, he will tell me.
Quite the scandal that she was hidden for 20 long years, isn't it?
She doesn't talk about it much, or maybe I don't listen.
Anyone got a line of questioning?
Feel like you guys had thoughts to ask questions about Escher? Otherwise, you've definitely returned to the idea of asking questions about them, then I'm going to solve the mystery for you.
Exactly.
The game is meant to entertain you. It is not to tell you a story. If you want me to write a book, I can always log off, and in 5 years, I might have something. But if you want me to riff with you, and we can tell a story as a team, that's what I think I'm best at.
Sargus, you got any ideas?
I mean, I've been trying this whole time, man. It's not like I'm not trying.
No, I know, buddy. I know.
I feel like we're figuring stuff out, but I don't know, man. I think this may just be like too tough, like without any like kind of spoilers or clues or anything. I mean, I don't want to say I'm like getting frustrated to where like I don't want to do this anymore, but I mean we're like approaching like 6 hours of this, and I don't know that we're getting anywhere.
Yeah, I was kind of feeling the same, and I'm just hoping someone else has got something or ready to call in the towel otherwise.
I agree.
So we we are gonna try and abandon this, I guess. Shall we?
Do you have any other thoughts about any of the other characters? I feel like you had questions about what was it I wrote down? I feel like you had Escher. Oh damn. For wanting to get out of here? No, that was not what I wrote down a terrible note on that. So recap to yourselves. How about this? Recap to yourselves what you've got going right now. The main thoughts. Like what you've learned, when people leave the castle, how they've left the castle.
Give you my stuff. You guys can add in as you want, and then maybe you can give us some kind of checks or something to see if we're on the right track or something like that. But I basically have that Lumella, we basically have ruled out because while she did a poor job of keeping track of like the women in the town or the people in the town, it seemed like Strahd is not necessarily faulting her, and that if there was some sort of quote unquote betrayal, that he already knows about it, so he wouldn't need us to go around and do this. So I've all but ruled her out, in my opinion.
So let me get an intelligence roll from you all. We'll do just like a lower DC of 12. Yeah, okay. Ludmilla was on the Overlook when she spotted Gertruda. She did not get in trouble for having missed or having found Gertruda. She did not get in trouble, nor did she gain any praise. What was she doing on the Overlook? That was a big clue, and I think you guys ruled Ludmilla out without actually thinking about, I wonder what she was doing.
What is
Is
the
the
overlook?
overlook room where Asher was hanging out, like outside on the roof?
I mean, that alone is one of the questions that you guys can go into, is asking people, what does Ludmilla do on the Overlook?
Is that what the overlook is? Is it that balcony?
Well, what I'm saying, though, is for now, like, you guys can ask characters about that. But how about this? I'll give you all tests after your second visits with these characters, and we can see about me giving you essentially what I would say are spoilers based on that. But that was a big clue that you got Ludmilla to drop, was where she was when she spotted Gertruda, and she was on the Overlook. So maybe ask Anastraya about Ludmilla and the Overlook.
Okay, gotcha. And then you want us to go through each bride right now, or?
I think it would be better to give you guys a check at the end of your second questioning. Because again, I mentioned last week, you guys were not meant to get any big information on that first questioning. That first questioning was to give you guys the information to how you should prod with the second questioning far more than it was meant to be in its own thing, because you guys had to gain a sense of these people on their own. So, and I don't think you guys were just going to stumble across asking the right questions, is kind of how I want to phrase that. Because I don't think the suspicion was there. The big thing that you guys got from the first questioning is that you're about to uncover somebody who accidentally betrayed Strahd. None of these people are betraying Strahd. They did it on accident.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I got you. I feel like that helps a little bit because I did not even get the impression that a second visit was necessarily like even planned, let alone that that's when we were going to start getting info. So that makes a
No,
little
like,
more.
I tried to give you all that massive clue. Like, I thought it was a big moment when I feel like Vox said to Ludmilla, like, what if they were betraying him on accident? Escher thought nobody could betray Strahd, but that maybe Valenta was stupid enough to do it on accident. And Ludmilla paused for quite some time, and then she looked back to you all and she said, accident. Yes, maybe Valenta did betray him on accident. Like, you guys, I think you, like, clued into this fact that, like, two people said Valenta was stupid, but realistically, like, Ludmilla was repeating something to you all, but she was stunned when you all brought up that maybe somebody betrayed Strahd on accident, and I don't think that got picked up last time.
Okay.
So, with those couple of thoughts, continue on with what you might want to discuss here.
So Anna Strike, can you tell us about the overpass? Is it overpass? Have I said that right?
Overlook.
Oh shit, sorry. Overlook. Oops.
Ravenloft is built over Barovia. You can see it from below, and the Lord can watch from above. His father built it to view his city, and now Lord Strahd enjoys reminiscing about the last place he saw Tatiana.
Have you seen anybody else on the Overlook other than Strahd?
I don't believe you will see any others at the Overlook. It is quite sacred to my lord, and while I don't think he has told any of us that we are not welcome, I think we all well understand that he does not wish to share it with any others but his love.
Uh-huh. Good to know. Does anyone else have any more questions?
No, that was a pretty big one right there.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're good here.
We've seen Asher up on the over look as well. I suspect he's looking out towards freedom or fantasizing about his escape from this land or perhaps something else.
Quick question, DM. Did we see Asher on the Overlook, or he was just on top of the... He just climbed out on the roof, right? That's not the same thing.
I'm not sure if Doc is trying to allude to it, but yeah, you saw him on the roof.
Yeah.
Oh wait, is that different than the Overlook? Did I miss that?
The Overlook is outside of the castle, and it is overlooking the town of Barovia.
Oh, okay. I asked that a minute ago and didn't get an answer, so I might have just missed that. My bad. No, I was not trying to like trick her or anything. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, you go for it, Flea.
I think we have a focus, two focuses perhaps, her and the Overlook.
We just need to find someone that's seen Lumella on the Overlook. This is outside game for a second. Sorry. And Anastraya hasn't seen her. So if we just ask about the Overlook and who's been seen on it, if anyone, or something like that, maybe we might get someone to pick up.
I say we ask Strahd to go to the Overlook.
Well, we could do, but maybe if we continue asking the brides first, they can evidence that they have witnessed Lumella on the Overlook. You see what I mean? And then we get the
Cool.
evidence. What do you think, Sarkis?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down for. I mean, I like you said. I assume at this point in time we're meant to talk to each of the other brides at least one more time. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking up too.
And also, I did not realize that it was an option to even speak with Gertruda, nor am I sure that it would be beneficial. But knowing that that's an option, I think also is.
Well, I mean, think about it. If Lumella saw Gertruda from the Overlook, perhaps Gertruda saw Lumella on the Overlook. You see what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And again, I definitely think there's potential there. If that's what we need, is some kind of like cooperation, or also like maybe Gertruda has a different story to tell. But we do have to be very careful there because they specifically have talked about how Gertruda was basically like imprisoned, quote unquote, for her own safety and is like ignorant to the dangers. So we got to make sure that we don't like try to steer Gertruda against Strahd, or else he'll probably be pissed and try to kill us. So we got to be real careful with the information we give to her, and it's got to be more about getting information from her.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just ask her, like, oh, did you see anybody from up there? Or Lumella mentioned that she saw you from up there. Did you see her? And if she says yes, perfect. Then when we go to Strahd, we say, Gutrella, oh my god, these names. Grumella, Trusella, the what? Oh, words failing. I think you know what I mean, I hope.
Well, are we presuming right now that perhaps Lumella is the one that Strahd is mad at for doing a poor job at keeping track of the potential people around town? Is that what we're going for, and that would potentially be the betrayal?
No, I would have thought being up somewhere where she's not supposed to be as a betrayal.
Okay, so did we get the impression previously that she was not supposed to be up there? That's like Strahd's specific place only, or?
That's what Anastasia has just told us.
But remember, we're looking for who talked to who and what.
There's a possibility that maybe she was up there with someone that she wasn't supposed to be up there with, or that just being up there. Yeah, okay. So I think we should talk to Gertruda at some point in time and try to figure out what the hell's going on here. Because I think Gertruda can either corroborate or put some holes in the story of Lumella.
Yeah, that's why I think maybe we should talk to her next. And Asher doesn't like her, and it was often on the roof, so I got a suspicion that he might have seen her up there as well, maybe. But first, maybe Grudcella first. God's sakes, these names.
You have to write down a name and say the same name over and over again.
I've got
don't
it
have to
written
worry
down.
about-
I'm just not looking.
You
I'm
don't
just
have
not
to worry
looking at
about
the
whether
note.
you're saying the right name. Just give them the same name, so you're always saying the same name.
Rumella.
Alrighty, let's go.
So, assuming that you walk out of the hall, Rahadin will be inside speaking with the old man, and he will look to you. Excellent. Where do you require next?
Can we see Grumella, please?
All right, I feel like Grumella is the combination of two names. Do you mean Gertruda or Ludmilla?
Oh God, yeah, Gertrude. I'm gonna write that down again now. Jesus.
Excellent. We will return to the fourth story. Please follow me back up the stairs. So you all will walk back through the hall, up to the next level, past the knights, into the room with the moldy cakes, into the library, and then through the double doors in the west wall of the library. Rahadin will open up the doors, and you will see a small, or not a small, a large bedroom. And Gertruda is, yeah, actually, he'll have you all wait in the library for a few minutes as he goes in. Be a little bit of a conversation before eventually he returns through the doors and invites you all to enter. So as you enter, you see a large embroidered rug across the ground and a massive bed, almost just absurdly large, probably like 4 to 6 people could comfortably sleep on the bed. You could lay down with your arms outstretched and not reach top to bottom. And there is a small girl in the room who's kind of like waking up, seems a little bit tired, but overall seems a little bit more kind of put together moment by moment, as she seems to be waking up from a night's rest at this point. Hello, how are you all doing? I was really excited to meet you all for dinner last night. Have you had a good sleep?
Unfortunately, we've not had an opportunity to sleep yet. We've been quite busy taking care of some business for Master Strahd.
Isn't he wonderful? What kind of business do you do for me? Tell me about some stories. What do you do for him? Does you, uh, what, what kind of business are you in?
He is quite intriguing indeed, man of mystery and power. One that I'm sure anyone would look up to. As for us, we each do business in our own right. My specialty is in mastering your inner strength and the energy within to channel that into the environment for different uses, and each of them, well, they'll tell you about themselves as well.
So you're like a craftsman?
I do some leather work, indeed, I do, but more of a sort of meditation to come into contact with your inner self and find strength that you don't know that you possess.
A cobbler? You make shoes?
Not technically, but I could make shoes if they're made of leather. And I'll just show her like some of my bracers and some of my other like random leather work, and I'll just go with that.
That's really impressive that you've made a career out of this.
Of course, of course. Should the opportunity arise, perhaps I can make a gift for you.
That would be wonderful.
And Flea, Ox, tell her a little about yourselves as well. Keep it straightforward.
In first note, basic talents, a performer.
It's okay. Not everybody has to be as wonderful as Strahd. What kind of talents do you have? You don't have to be shy.
An acrobat, and I am quick with my hands.
Do you do the trapeze? I've always heard about people who swing on trapeze. Do you? Are
I've been
you
known to
daring?
learn time to time.
That sounds wonderful. I've always read about circuses, but I've never met somebody from a circus. You don't smell like cabbage at all.
Oh no.
Oh, you'll see Sarkis like trying to smell, but he just can't smell anything.
Fox will give a little giggle to himself.
Gertruda's gonna jump up on the bed and run across to a little nightstand, and she's gonna pull back a little figure that looks a lot like Strahd, and it like rocks its head back, and you see a white little fluffy piece of like fabric kind of sticking out, and she's gonna pull one, and a little square comes out, and it's in her hand, and she's gonna run over to Sarkis. Here you are.
Ah, indeed. And what would you like me to do with it?
It's a tissue. It says it's made of aloe. They call them Clean X.
Ah, gracias.
The Vistani brought it for me.
You don't mind if I use it?
Oh no, it's one time. I've got more. You just, that one, and then, like, take care of all that, because you really shouldn't be so unpleasant around Strahd. At least that's what they tell me, that I have to work on my manners.
Understood. And he'll take the tissue and start like kind of wiping up and like brushing on his mustache, and then you'll just hear him like seems plugged, but I think it helped at least some. And then he'll like kind of swat his ear, like try to pop his ear open too.
I've got more. I think there were a lot in the box, but do you need another one?
No worries. I'll see where this one takes me.
What's your name? What do you do? Are you a trapeze artist too?
No, my name's Vox. Pleased to meet you. I'm what they call a strong man. My trade is my strength.
So you're their servant?
Yeah, you
It's
could say
nothing to
that.
be ashamed of. My whole family, we've always worked for other people too. Like, not everybody can be the boss. I kind of get it.
Yeah, like one day I want to be just like Rahadin when I grow up.
He's pretty old. I don't think you want to be that old.
I'm pretty old already, but I'm sure one day I'll be as old.
I'm pretty sure he was here before Strahd lived here, and that was a long time ago. My mom always said that Strahd's always been here, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Rahadin's been here for a long time. I think they said he's the last of the elves. That's why he's got the pointy ears.
Did there used to be more elves in Barovia?
I mean, I've never seen an elf until I came here. When I met Rahadin, that was the first time that I ever saw an elf. But I always read stories that had elves in them. I really like the stories with the elves. There's a lot of stories about elves, but I've never seen an elf. But
Aren't you just a charming young lady, so eager to make friends? Why, you spent quite a bit of time outside of the society, so to speak, did you?
I got to read a lot of books. Or rather, got to read a few books a lot of times. Mom
Uh,
told me stories, but I think the world's a lot bigger than she wanted to lead on to.
yes, world is much bigger than most of us realize. I'm sure you
You've
must.
seen Lumella's library? It's so big. There's so many books. I just want to read them all. I'm so excited to have time to read the books. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to interrupt. Strahd tells me to watch my manners.
No worries. You need not be on your best manners around us. As you can see, we've all got plenty of flaws of our own. The last thing we would do is judge you.
She's gonna reach under the couch or under the bed, and she's gonna pull out a silver platter that's just filled with pastries. And she's like, "I always hide some in my room. I feel like I get hungrier than the others. But do you all want some pastries?"
Of course, I'd love a pastry.
She's
No,
already shoved like 3 donuts and like a muffin in her face, and she's like a 5-year-old getting told that it's okay to eat the candy, and she's just shoveling food into her face right now.
Are there any windows in this room?
No. You've got a double set of doors to the east and a double set of doors to the south.
So, Kachuda, do you miss your mom?
Mom wasn't very nice to me, but I mean, I definitely kind of miss her, but I really like being here. Strahd's really nice. I really enjoy. We didn't really have anything. Like, this bed is amazing. I used to just sleep on the ground. Mom didn't really have any furniture, so there's kind of a like, have you ever seen a carpet with so much color as this? We just, it's the, there's a lot of different things that they burn so many candles here to light it up. We never had any candles. I was just in the dark most of the time, and now I can walk around the whole castle and I can see everything. I mean, I guess I kind of miss Mom, but it wasn't, I don't, I was happy to go. I think I had to. She told me everything was destroyed, and I just didn't know I had to break out.
Well, Strahd's castle is quite beautiful and filled with intrigue. It's sounds like it's for the better that you got away and got to experience the world. Sometimes parents don't understand what's best for their child. Just out of curiosity, how did you find your way to Strahd's castle?
When you leave Barovia, it's the only thing you can see. You just look up and you see the castle. It's all the way up at the top of the cliff, and I knew that was my Prince Charming, because Prince Charming's always at the top of a cliff.
Ah, one of your books spoke of Prince Charming then?
A few of them. I had a few stories. Um, a few stories talk about Prince Charming. I just knew that he was Prince Charming. I've always thought, but I knew that I was destined, and that's why things were so lonely, that if the world was destroyed, that all I had to do was wait for Prince Charming, and that was going to make everything better. And Strahd's castle is amazing. I know you kind of said it a while ago, and I really did everything I could not to interrupt you, but I've had so much time here, or so much fun here, and Lord Strahd's been so wonderful to me. He's brought me in. He makes me feel like family, and I just feel like I've always belonged here, and that I was meant to be here. And I think that's why my mom, I think that's why she did that, but I had to go. I couldn't stay there.
Why couldn't you stay anymore?
She had me locked in the room, and she said everything was destroyed, but I really thought that I could hear people talking outside every once in a while, and Mom would leave for a lot of time, and I don't know where she went. I was pretty sure that the world wasn't sick, that it was okay to go, that the fairy tales, all of the books, the brothers, they were right. Everything that they wrote about was right. The world outside is so wonderful. I know it was the right choice. I think sometimes that you see that some choices are really hard and they're really difficult, but that's what makes them so important to you.
Did you meet any of Strahd's ladies before you came here?
I met Lumella on the road, but like before I came here, no, I pretty much walked right to the castle. I mean, I could tell that like I couldn't go up the cliff. It's a pretty big cliff. I mean, I think are you from Barovia?
I've seen the cliff. It's big.
Yeah,
Where
I knew
did
I wasn't gonna climb that, but I guess a trapeze artist, did you climb it? You probably climbed it. If that's what you do, that's probably why Strahd has you. Does he have you clean the windows?
oh no. Where was Lumilla when she saw you?
We were on the road. It was around. I had almost gotten to the bridge. The forest is pretty. I didn't like the forest. That was definitely. I think Mom kind of understood that maybe the forest was why she told me that the road was so dangerous. But once I met Lumella, it felt a lot better to be with somebody else. I really felt she was very nice, and we made it pretty safely home. Well, it's home now, but
Did she
I
show
don't.
you? Was she the first one to show you around the castle?
Oh, Lumella? I met her, but no, Strahd's been really nice to me, and he's taken me around the castle. He showed me the castle. I've gotten to see everything.
Can I
You like
hear her saying that she met Lumella on the road?
Yeah, go for it.
Lumella did. Gertruda did. Lumella told us she saw you from the Oversea before meeting you. Did you see her up there?
There's no way that she could have seen me from all the way up there. But no, I couldn't see anybody. It's so far. it's gotta be at least, it's like so far, 1,000, 100, 100,000, 1,000,000,000 feet. It's super tall. I mean, you've seen it. No, wait, you said you're not from, where are you from if you're not from Barovia? You know how tall it is. It's super tall.
Oh, my mistake. I must have been mistaken.
Did Lumella see me from?
Have you ever been on the
Heard.
Overlook?
What was that?
Have you ever been on the Overlook?
I have been behind the castle, and we saw part of it, but Strahd told me that it's really dangerous and that people can fall off, and I know how high it is. I don't really like heights. Mom kept me locked in a room, so looking down from the castle from one of the higher areas, that's enough for me. That's like so far down. He told me that people can fall off, and I don't, no, I'm not gonna go to the Overlook. That seems crazy.
What were you going to say just before then, Judah?
So, Sarkis, just getting back to that, unless you have something in particular, she wasn't like lying or anything saying that she met Ludmilla on the road.
No, you're good. I was trying to figure out if she was telling the truth about the road part, or if she had been like put up to say that, and then you basically answered it with the no way she could have seen me from up there, and then it seemed like she came down to meet her.
Yeah, so I think I showed a picture of Ravenloft from Barovia in maybe one of the first sessions, and I think I've since deleted it, so I'd have to see if I can actually find it again to show for Vox. But all of you would have seen that, like, Ravenloft stands on a super incredibly high cliff, and there's like a quarter of a mile at least of difference between Barovia the town and the base of Ravenloft. And that's part of its like creep factor, is that like the mist lets you see for maybe 100 feet, but Ravenloft is always visible inside of Barovia. It's not really like a question. The mist always breaks to have Ravenloft just creepily in view. And in particular, it's like 1,000-foot, if not higher, cliff face that separates Ravenloft from the town of Barovia. And that's what Ludmilla said she was looking over. And that's what Gertruda said, no, I would never go near that, because it's effectively like you're going to fall for a while and have plenty of time to contemplate how dead you're going to be.
So, can we say we have established that she couldn't have seen her from the Overlook?
100%. But that doesn't mean that Ludmilla couldn't have seen her from the Overlook. But Gertruda definitely did not see Ludmilla. And
Right,
Gertruda is shocked to imagine that Ludmilla could see her.
Right, so we're not going to get our evidence out of her, but we gleaned a bit of information nonetheless.
She was about to say something. She literally was saying, "I overheard," and then
Oh, she was thinking about I was thinking about that she would have heard stories about like spyglasses. So yeah, she's just got like a childlike wonder, and she's thinking about essentially like a pirate like spyglass or like binoculars. I guess on some level maybe a telescope, but that's what I was getting at, was she was like about to like fondly talk about like essentially spyglasses.
I think we got as much as we need out of her. I don't know about you guys.
I agree.
what are you saying that we got out of her that's going to benefit us?
Well, that we. Well, sorry for Lemelda anyway. But I suppose we could ask her what she thinks about any of the other brides, if you want.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear at this point in time what information we need to get. So, what do you think that we got that's conclusive?
Oh, nothing. That's going to help us prove anything.
Well, I think we should probably keep digging. I mean, I'm assuming at this point in time we're on the right track. So, I don't think we should just give up talking to her right now.
Sure, go for it. If you got line of questioning, I just can't see any other way to connect. My only thought was that she would be good for evidence, but that's fallen through now. Other than that, is what she knows about the other brides, I guess, or any relation with her history herself. So yeah, if you can think of ways to dig, go for it.
So sounds like you were already headed this way. When you came upon Lumella, did she tell you about the prince in the castle, Count Strahd, or curious about your conversation? Was she inviting?
She seemed excited to see me, but she didn't really share a lot. She just told me she had seen me, and that she wanted to help me go where I needed to go. And I thought it was kind of surprising that she was coming from the same place that I was going. But yeah, she brought me here, and Strahd's been really nice. But she just said, yeah, she saw me. She was out there enjoying the overlook, and she saw me break out, and I got away from Mom, and
She saw you? She was out there enjoying the overlook, you say? Is that what she said to you, or?
yeah, she said she spends time on the overlook. She likes to just be with herself. She was meditating. Maybe she makes shoes too.
Of course. I read books, she makes shoes. We've all got quite a bit in common.
She reads books. She's got all those books out there. Well, they're Strahd's books, but she reads them.
You've been so helpful. I'm very glad that we met you. You're such a pleasant young woman, and sounds like you're really on the right track.
People always had to set goals in their stories, and they had to follow through with them, and I think I'm doing a great job. I found my Prince Charming, and I'm here, and I'm really getting to enjoy things, and I think everything's gonna work out for the best.
Certainly. We'll do everything we can to make sure that everything works out for the best. If there's anything we can do, you just let us know and we'd be glad to help. Just out of curiosity, did you share any of these details with Lord Strahd, or?
What kind of details? I mean, I told him that Mom's been hiding me, for a while, and that I knew the Prince Charming, and that was him, and I came here. I think I told him everything.
Makes sense, makes sense. He's quite busy. I'm sure he doesn't have time to talk about the little things like we do. And, okay, well, not to be hasty, but thank you for the Danish. Perhaps we'll be on our way. Maybe we'll see you again soon. But we still have quite a bit of business to attend to. If you don't mind, I'll just check what size shoes you wear, but don't say anything. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Sticks her foot in your face.
I'll
She's
look,
just
get
like
down
sitting
my
on the
knees.
side.
I'll get down on my knees and pretend like I'm like measuring her foot.
Yeah, like the moment you said that, just right away, one single foot just like juts up into your face, and she's just like, "Yeah, make me shoes."
Okay, great. Well, I think we've got everything we need. I'll just know what size your foot is, and all right.
She's just gonna like run over to you and kind of tackle you a little bit as she thanks you. I've never had my own pair of shoes before.
Think you're excited now. Wait till you see them. I'm quite a craftsman, and I'll just kind of show off some of my like random little leather work and everything. They'll be beautiful, like nothing you've even thought of. Fit for a princess.
I'm gonna be a princess. I am a princess. I am a princess. I'm a princess. Princesses have manners. It's been wonderful. She like stands up prim and proper. It's been wonderful to meet you all, and I thank you for visiting me in my in my room.
It's okay. Strahd said it was okay to come visit you on this occasion.
Maybe it was a test. I'm just being a bad princess. I think I'm supposed to entertain you in a different place. We should have gone to a better room. I don't think I'm supposed to invite people into my bedroom. Rahadin! Why? I forgot. I wasn't supposed to invite people in my bedroom.
You were being so wonderful. You were being very proper. You're having a wonderful conversation with us. There's been nothing improper.
I just know it was a test. I'm so sorry, Rahadin. Please tell Strahd I didn't mean to be so bad. I just try. I'm learning. I'm really doing better. I didn't even bring any pastries in here last night. And she's gonna wink at Sarkis.
Like brush all like the little pastry crumbs out of my mustache.
She has like a face full of like red jelly and like powdered sugar on her face as she says that to Rahadin. Yes, I am sure you did not sneak any food into your bedroom.
Rahadin, we have heard so much about this overlook.
The doors are currently open with Ludmilla in the other room. Are you
No.
asking this question?
Rahadin, can you take us to Escher, please?
Excellent. Please follow me to the stairs. We will return to Master Escher. So you guys will walk through the wedding guest room with the table, back through the hall by the knights, and up a flight of stairs before you come out on the double landing with the room or with the stairway just to the north of you. And then the doors to the west are the doors that you walk through as you step into the little library that overlooks the roofs.
Just before we go in with Escher, could Flea ask Rahadin what he was about to?
What would you like to ask about the overlook, Flea?
I was asking if we could go to it.
Why did you ask me to visit Escher if you would like to go to the lower grounds? You all are very silly. But if you desire, we can certainly go down.
Wait, what?
My good man. I am sorry. I was thinking and should have thought it better.
No, that's legit. I'm role playing Rahadin. Like, you guys should have gathered by now. He is not happy that Strahd told him he needs to escort you all around the castle. So that's definitely just essentially his aspect of fuck my life. But yeah, you guys can go in and visit Escher, or you can go to the Overlook. It's really up to you all.
Oh, we want to go see. Well, I want to see Escher personally, but can we ask Rahadin? Does Strahd allow anyone else to be on the oversea other than himself?
Allow and prefer are two different thoughts.
Understood.
Strahd has memories of the Overlook that he does not wish others to. My lord has been tortured by many occurrences in this land. The Overlook is where he was first parted from his love. And it is, for a long time now, been a place he does not prefer others to be.
And have you seen any others there by chance, other than Strahd?
I have not seen anyone in the Overlook itself. Many of my duties, I do understand that some of the brides enjoy more of the grounds than others. But as far as I know, most everybody understands that if Lord Strahd wishes something to remain his, it is best to abide his wishes.
Thank you, Strahd.
Rahadi, I no disrespect. I do not want to intrude on Lord Strahd's special place. Please disregard my request.
As far as I understand, there are many places where I am allowed to take you. And the Lord Strahd has not told me that I cannot take you there. So if you ask, you may go. If you prefer not, I believe he would be happier to know that you have not.
Yes, I want to respect Lord Strahd's sensibilities.
No, please, take us if you don't mind, Rahadin. I'd like to have a look myself. Secure my curiosity, so to speak.
If you prefer not to dabble in the cliff, I can take you out into the outer... Shit, I can't think of the name for it. The outer walls? That sounds like the wrong way to describe it. But basically outside of the castle, but inside of the walls. I can
Parapets?
take you... Well, not specifically like a parapet, like not onto the walls.
Outer cloister?
Yeah, I feel like cloister's a pretty solid way of describing it. I can take you to the outer cloister, and we can at least view the area without perhaps going too far to the actual overlook itself. And that way we can have the best of both worlds, where you can see what Strahd holds so dear without having to be afeared of falling to your death. You're gonna see gets like a little thought in his head, and you can kind of gather he just realized that maybe if you fall off of the cliff, he can't get in trouble for killing you.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to speak to Asher, guys, but more importantly, too, I don't know what we're going to gain by going out there when we need to talk to these people to get the evidence, don't we? I don't know if there's going to be some rags or ribbons, or we can see from far out as evidence, or just a better understanding, but we put ourselves in great danger being outside the areas he told us not to go.
You can roll an intelligence check. DC 11.
That everyone?
Just you. Your clues are that shady shit's been happening on that overlook. There's a reason you guys should go to the overlook.
I have no problem talking to Asher, but I'm definitely going to the Overlook.
Like, Ludmilla is very particularly hiding the fact that she spends time out there, and you guys are well aware of that right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh no, I for sure got it.
So if you guys are kind of finished in this little conversation against the hall, Rahadin's like looking at Flea and Sarkis, and like Asher, we're right here. If you guys want to go to the Overlook, it's down there. Like, I don't know which way you want to go, so he's going to walk towards the door to the northwest. He will open it, and as he looks inside, find him a little disappointed as he looks around. He's like, Asher is not here. Let me see if he is on the roofs. And Rahadin will step outside onto the roof. After a few moments, he returns. You guys can see, like, through the windows that there's, what is it? I think 2 sets of, I can't think what the style of roof is, but just like a pretty like 90-degree roof that almost runs side by side. So each of these windows is kind of in like the valley with high points on each side of them. And the more southern of the windows kind of like overlooks the actual like side of the castle. So the one Rahadin goes out on is almost a little bit safer, because if you slip off of the roof, you're just going to fall kind of towards that valley. Ooh, there's somebody in chat. Pitched roof does sound like the right answer.
You mean gable ends and a dormer window?
I didn't really catch that, Flea.
Gable ends and dormer type windows.
I am not as familiar with that type of architecture, but let's go with that. So after a few moments, Rahadin returns with Escher, and Escher and Rahadin walk back through the windows, and they were out on the more southern roof. And it's probably like 3 to 5 minutes of waiting for him. Yeah, let's go for 5 minutes that we waited while Rahadin had to round up Escher.
Could we say that? I mean, sorry. Could is it possible to see the Oversea from this angle, or if where Escher gets up on the roof, usually from here?
The Overlook is to the east, Barovia is to the east, and Escher walks out on the west. He is looking over the front of the castle and the actual kind of like the main entrance, the drawbridge, as well as the like long, slanting, slow climb of the road that leads up to Barovia. So Escher is looking, essentially goes off in the complete other direction.
But if he were to turn around, would he be able to see it, or is it just blocked off from his viewpoint over here?
I don't think you've seen enough of the roofs to necessarily see, but he is certainly on the roof, so perhaps he can. But you would have seen him come from the west as he kind of walks back.
Hello, Escher. Sorry to bother you again.
It cannot be a bother if I am told to obey from my lord. What, pray tell, do you require my attention that might keep me from my musings?
Very grateful. We just had a quick couple of questions about the Oversea. Have you had many wanderings over there, or seen many happenings, other than obviously Lord Strahd?
As I have understood for most of my time, that is where Tatiana committed suicide. I was not aware that I was perhaps allowed to spend time there. But no, I find my muses most active when I spend my time on the roofs. I feel a connection to the creativity of the world, and I find myself most happy to enjoy that conversation.
And you haven't seen Lumella out there anywhere on any of your comings?
I am not terribly fond of the house mother to notice her, but she lacks the creativity of somebody who is inspired. I've seen Ludmilla at times around the castle. I could not tell you where at any point I have seen her this or that way.
That's all I had, guys. Anyone else got anything to add to that?
No, I don't.
Not in particular. I really didn't have much more for Escher at this point in time. Specific.
So let me get a intelligence check from you all. We'll do a DC 13. Sarkis. Escher just told you that he converses with the wind. His muse speaks to him on the roofs while he walks around, but he does not find any reason to tend to the places where Ludmilla might be, or his muse is not active in those places. You guys just got a confession.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to pursue the questioning any further right now, though, because I don't want him to get that we're on to him, right?
That is perfectly acceptable for you guys to understand, and that's what Strahd asked you. He asked you all for evidence, and he asked you to not pursue it or not to take anything to battle.
Okay, so I want to still walk away, like, without asking him anything further.
So Vox will say, again, thank you for your time. Apologies. These are our final questions. Have a good night.
Thank you, good sir. Have a good day.
Have a wonderful time. I return to the ever-present struggle to create beautiful things. And he's going to step back out of the window.
So out of game for a minute.
So I need to take at very least a break here. I'm going to step away. You guys are welcome to still chat. But like I took a break previously when you guys stepped out for a chat, I just want to make sure that you guys don't necessarily need it as well.
Yeah, I might need to get a quick cup of tea or something. But just checking. That was a confession?
Yeah, we're supposed to find out who he was. Yeah, sorry, I should have just said out of game then. We're supposed to find out who they were talking to. What was it? Oh my gosh, I have it written down. Hang on. Sorry, I have shit all over my desk right now. Yeah, Strahd asked us who the quote unquote betrayer was talking to, how they were communicating with them, and
And evidence, right?
yeah, and said we needed evidence or a confession or whatever, and then said that he didn't want us to like confront them specifically, that he wanted us to tell him about it.
So can we just confirm, what did he confess again? Exactly.
He speaks to the wind. The way he phrased it, he talks to his muse on the wind.
Yeah, so he's obviously using some sort of like magic or something beyond my character's personal understanding to communicate, and he does so on the roof, and it's with the wind, and he confessed to it, but he didn't tell us specifically what it was, though, right?
Now,
Well, we might be able to glean that from going outside now onto where Rahadin had suggested, right? Maybe.
but it makes me wonder if the two of them are communicating. Like her from the overlook, and he's on the roof, and that's how they're communicating. But I don't know. Maybe it has nothing to do with her.
Yeah, I'm just a bit of a curveball just hit me, so I don't know. But should we go check out that next place then? The roofy place?
Yeah, but I mean, we know that the person they're communicating with is outside the castle. So, I mean, that kind of, clarifies that.
Unless we ask him what his muse is, but is that pushing the boat too far?
Yeah, I think that's edging out there a bit.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's safe to say that you guys made the right choice to not prod further, that any more information may be enough that he actually realizes what's going on. But you can understand from how he said things, he's being creative. He's not talking to somebody, but he's the way he phrased it, that was me rolling the die, was how he phrased it gave you guys the idea that he's having conversations. He's hearing his muse when he talks. He doesn't think he's doing anything. This is still the one person who started the conversation where he said, if somebody's betraying Strahd, they're doing it accidentally. This is somebody who doesn't understand what he's doing, but the way he phrased it was that moment where you guys can clue into the fact that he's conversing, and that's the mode or the evidence that you guys are searching for, is essentially him saying he goes out onto those rooftops to be creative, and he has a conversation with his muse.
Gotcha.
So do we get the inclination we still need to go to the overlook though, or that was enough, like to tell Strahd?
I think Sorry.
I think that's up to you guys. Strahd never told you that there was one person who is betraying him. This might just be a random other thing that's going on. This might be everything that you guys were looking for. I think my bad, hit a cough. I think a lot of that has to do with what you all expect and think and expect to find. But I think you found plenty enough shady shit that I don't think you don't need to see the overlook. It's more, how much do you want to satisfy Strahd and what he's looking for? How much do you want to try to please him? And perhaps what you might gain by having information that maybe two different people are in fact betraying him.
I think
Well,
that's enough.
that's about where I was getting ready to go. We were, he asked for one, and we've got two. So, I mean, hopefully we'll get on its good side. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's enough hints dropped that we should go check out the overlook as well.
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I mean, definitely worth the shot to go out there and see what's going on and try to put two and two together, or see if they're just two completely unrelated things.
Well, I'm going to quickly run and grab a cup of tea. I'll be 2 minutes and I'll be right back.
What was the specific three things that Strahd wanted us to find out? Who?
I think the third. I think the third is the psych out. My bad.
Go ahead, say it again.
I think the third thing is a psych out because it's kind of implicit. The first thing is who is betraying him, and that's what I mean was the third that you kind of forgot. The evidence, in my opinion, is just as effectively the mode. It's how are they communicating, and who are they communicating with. So it is realistically, tell me who is talking, who they're talking to, and how are they talking.
So is quote unquote the muse enough though, or do we kind of need to know like more detail? That I feel like.
Well, one thing that I would say that wouldn't be too much to gather is that you all went to Strahd and you tried to question him, and he was put off on the idea, like, I don't care to find out, like, you all aren't here to find out and tell me what I know. Like, if you're coming here to talk to me and to bother me, you need to be sharing information that I don't yet know. So I think you would have a better chance going to Strahd if you say something to that effect and see how he reacts. But that again is one of those things where just because you go to him doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be satisfactory. But it's one of those things where I think at very least you can understand what Escher is doing. And again, Strahd didn't really necessarily like expect anybody to be betraying him. Part of how he kind of phrased things was like, something weird is going on. So it might be enough to respond like, Escher is talking to somebody and he thinks he's talking to this like creativity in himself, and that's why he spends all of his time on the roof. Like, that satisfies everything. It's just a question of whether it will satisfy Strahd. But again, that brings it back to, like, he told you guys not to actually confront anybody, to bring the evidence to him so he can handle it. So I think it's safe to say that you guys have at least enough to go to Strahd for Escher, or in regards to Escher.
Yeah, I got you. I definitely got the impression the way you said it, that he wasn't like, I hear things on the roof. He was like, I talk to, therefore, like he's disclosing information unbewittingly to himself, thinking like, I'm talking to my creative spirits. And it's like, no, someone is fucking tricking you into saying shit you're not supposed to be saying.
Exactly. And that's one of the things why it's definitely meta to see when I roll, but I think it's more entertaining to see what I'm rolling. That's one of the things I miss, being able to roll dice so people hear that I'm rolling dice. But getting to see what those rolls are and how things react. If I'm rolling a die, on some level, it is often, that is the right question. So it's one of those things to...
The 4? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that was the 4. And it was effectively, that was, like, if I had rolled a 1 on that one in response to that question, Escher might have given you guys every bit of information that you would need to, like, you're running the Strahd, be like, we got it, we got it, we got it. And that's one of the things, like, the roll alone was a lot, but the question was the big thing. He was going to incriminate himself. The role was going to make it obvious where he said, I'm having a conversation, or that I'm speaking to my muse. Like, he references it as like another being that he's speaking to.
I'm not gonna lie, whenever I see you roll, I at least feel like we're doing something right, because we're prompting you to test the characters.
And yeah, one of the things that's definitely a psych out is, like, if I'm rolling for like random encounters in the middle of us playing, like, you don't know whether that's like reference to the right question, because I think that happened once or twice during some of these questionings, that I was rolling for stuff not necessarily related to the question. But there's definitely a certain level of, I'm usually going to roll a die in a questioning scenario like this to try to see, like, how the character reacts. Like, if I roll high, they might do something shady, but they're not going to give up any information. If I roll low, they're probably going to do something shady that's like almost like word vomit, incriminating themselves. And that's part of why I definitely felt from the start of this. Again, the whole idea of this module is to give you all a safe experience in Ravenloft, to experience it before actually coming here to kill Strahd. But that's one of the things where I like the idea of it being twice, is that you get to experience these people, and now you also know more characteristics about them to ask a little bit more in depth.
Thank God you made that roll save, Sarkis.
Oh, say it again?
I said, thank God you made the intelligence check.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I had a good idea, though. When he said he was talking to the wind, that's when I was like, oh shit, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Without asking him any more questions.
Right, that flew right over my head, if I'm going to be honest, so I'm glad you caught it.
Well, I still felt like there was some sort of correlation between the two of them. But if he would have said, "I like to hang out here because I hear things that like inspire me from my muse," I would have thought like a little differently. But the way he said, "talking to," like that made me think like he was like communicating with someone or something, unbeknownst to himself. Like that it's not just like some hippie motivation where you smoke pot and like you like to draw. Like there's something else going on here.
Right.
But I was also like super paranoid that if we kept talking to him, we were gonna like give ourselves up and he was gonna kill us all.
Yeah. This is the whole thing I was worried about from the start, to be fair.
All right, so Rahadin is going to walk you all back down the stair. You'll take that south stairwell, and you will follow all the way down. You will walk past that like guest entrance, back into the room with the dragons, and then off to the west towards that front entrance, and back through the entrance. Wait, no, back through the room with the pillars, and then to the west through the room with the dragons, and then out into the front courtyard. That was the word I was looking for before. Courtyard. And you will... So this map won't be to scale, like if you measure stuff. It's just a massive map. And I don't really have like a huge cause for this until like, say, you guys are able to fly over Ravenloft to actually see. But on some level, oh yeah, I described those roofs poorly as well. But on some level, you basically will walk out in front of the main keep, and you'll see again like the very defensive like stone walls that are about 120 feet tall or so. And you will walk to the north with Rahadin, and he will take you all around the northern side of the keep. There is a parapet that extends from the actual Castle Ravenloft to the outer walls, and there is about a 40-foot arched portcullis that separates the forward courtyard from the rear courtyard. And Rahadin will walk forward, and at his touch, the portcullis will rise. Nobody will... Yeah, I'm going to say just nothing at all. It seems like at his touch, the portcullis just arises, and he will bring you all forward and through. You'll see that there is a large building off on the very northeast of the castle, and it is offset and on the wall. You can gain the general, well, everybody but Sarkis can gain the general smell that that's probably where the horses are housed. And you see like some signs that the wagon heads like this way when Rahadin puts it away. But he will walk you around the northeastern side of the castle. You will go under another parapet that goes over to the north side, and he will take you to the rear of the chapel. And you see a large courtyard where the wall extends, and he'll show you, I think there's kind of like a little bit more space before another wall on the southern end here, but you can basically see he will point you off towards the overlook is through this next wall to the east, and it extends. Man, I think even at that point, that's almost like 100 feet beyond that last wall. And there are buildings kind of on each side. And then the overlook itself is just staring off on the mist from like basically midway between the chapel and the overlook itself. So like if you guys are just in that general area there, you're still like a good like 100 or so feet away from the actual overlook, and Rahadin will be... Do you require to see the overlook closer, or will this be satisfactory to
No, most certainly would like to go up there and see what the appeal is.
If you will follow me, I will once again warn you. There is a long drop. It is most certainly fatal for your kind to fall. And he'll walk you off past these two buildings. Like there's one building on the north side, one building on the south side. And then there seems to be turrets that kind of like overlook the actual edges. And as you get to the overlook, it's just a very short like railing. It's maybe like chest high for Sarkis, but it's essentially like a 2.5, 3 foot rail. So for any human of like a traditional size, it's just enough to remind you like don't walk past this, more than it's meant to keep you from falling over this edge. And there's just a long, dull, white view out into the distance. You can't really make anything out past the mist, but you can look all the way down and see that well below you is Barovia. And I feel like from this distance, you could like cover up the village of Barovia just by extending your thumb out. As you look down, you could cover up the whole of the village. Some like you can spot, I think it's like 70 houses or 70 buildings, and you can cover those up with your thumb as you look down over the overlook. Let me have everybody. What are you guys doing as you get to the overlook here? What are your thoughts?
I'm trying to see if you can actually see the road.
The road?
Yes.
I mean, you can see signs of the road. You can definitely see the bridge out of Barovia.
Is there? I would probably be wanting to look around to see anything that looks out of place or something covered up. I suppose. General area.
You can roll a perception check.
Yeah, I'm definitely more wanting to like look around and see. I guess like, does it seem like there was just one person up here, kind of like hanging out occasionally, or does it seem like there has like multiple glasses sitting out, or like potential that someone was having like a secret meeting up here, anything like that type of deal?
Let me actually do it like this. Let me get Sarkis and Flea to throw in perception checks as well. Flea, from what you can tell, you could spot like a caravan coming down the road, but you can make out the road, and that's about what this overlook is good for. So if Lumella saw Gertruda from this point, she has vision like you can hardly even imagine. Vox, you said you were just looking around for... What were you thinking?
Anything covered up or out of place or something that looks like it shouldn't be there or been moved or something.
There's not really stuff out here in this area. There doesn't really appear to be anything that's like movable or like mobile. But you can do an investigation check. And then Sarkis, you are able to spot that there seems to be bird droppings of sorts on one of the like roofs to the north of you. Do an intelligence for me. From your time with Muriel, spending I think it was about a day on your shoulder, you're relatively sure that these are raving droppings that seem to be ravens that spend time on this roof. But Vox, yeah, you kind of look around for any like secret spots where you might hide something, or like bricks that might move, stones that move. And it seems pretty kosher that this is just how the Overlook is, and that there's not really anything like secret or hidden about this.
The ravens are a major clue here, guys.
You all are well aware of what the ravens are in this place.
Oh yeah, I
That's-
100% know that means that. Oh my gosh, my notes are buried right now. But the old man whose house we stayed at, their ability is to turn into ravens. So, regardless, one way or another, either Lumella is out here conversing with the ravens, or she's out here like talking to someone and the ravens are overhearing it. But it seems to me like there's definitely potential that she is out here like narking or something to that effect.
I'd be curious whether raven droppings would be sufficient evidence to establish a connection as to who she's co-aspiring with.
Okay, but here's the thing though. I'm not sure that I want to disclose this, especially not to Strahd, because that is also our ally, and I do not want to get our ally killed.